Hi, hello, and welcome back to my channel Share and Smile. In this episode, we are going to talk on different topics. But do you know that of late, most of the visa applicants eligible for a Dropbox, even if you are applying for new visa or if you are renewing your visa. So most of you get qualified for Dropbox. That's the good news. In this video, I'm going to cover 3 sections that were not covered in my previous videos. That's what I'm going to do now. So there are some few new questions that have been asked. So I'm going to get into the little detail of those questions. And the second thing that I'm going to discuss, show here is, it's a very common question that a lot of you have been asking about how do I fix my mistake, or that's one another area that I'm going to cover in this video. And the last is the rescheduling. If you are planning to reschedule your appointment, how does it happen? So if you're doing for the first time, and you have an appointment, and if you wanted to reschedule, how do you do that? I'm going to cover those 3 in this video. Let's jump right into the video. Start the fresh application and see like how does it flow through, what are the new questions that they have introduced in order to qualify for the visa Dropbox. So the first question that you will be answering is the state. Then the second question that you'll be answering is the language. So initially, like there used to be multiple languages listed according to the state that you're selecting, but now you don't see that option. But you can still select English, and you can even go to the consulate if you're going for in-person interview, and then you can ask for a different language. Most of the applicants are now qualifying for the Dropbox, so you might not even need that option. So that's why they have made it simple by having only English in this section. So let's go to the next page. In this page, you will choose the type of visa. So if it is employment based, you will choose, that's pretty standard. Then on this next page, what you'll be doing is you have to choose the subcategory. So if it is H1, like there can be H4 or H1B. Then if it is L1, spouses will go for L2. But let's go and see the special condition that they are talking about. It's nothing but if you are going on an employment based visa, some of the employee should have applied for a visa petition fee. So that's the basic criteria. That means that you will have a I-797 petition filed on behalf of your employer. That's something that you should be having in order for you to apply in this category, the employment based category. Don't worry about the Australian professional and Commonwealth categories. Then go to the next page. If you're in India, you don't have to worry about it. The next page is nothing but the summary page. So whatever you selected in the previous page, it is going to give you a summary. So here comes the part where it will be pulling the data from your profile and it is populating it. So here you make sure that your information is correct and every detail is correct. So the next page talks about your dependents. So if you have dependents, if you have added dependents, it is going to show up here. So here comes the questionnaire that you'll be using or you'll be answering in order for you to get qualified for a visa Dropbox or get a visa waiver program. The first question is, do you have a previous US visa in any visa class issued on or after your 14th birthday? That means like do you have any other visa? So that's the primary condition, and that too like after you turned 14. So if you answer no, Asan, then like you have to go for an in-person interview because it's entirely a new application. They wanted to revalidate you. That's the reason. So if you see here, like it is not showing you the visa Dropbox eligibility page. That means like you have to go for the in-person interview. So you see the document delivery option, and then if you continue, it will ask you to schedule an appointment, and you can go for it. If you are selecting yes option, then it will start asking more questions. So the next question that it is going to ask you, was your visa annotated, clearance received, or department authorization? So I'm going to explain a little detail about this. So go and look at your previous visa. Yeah, under annotations, you will have your employee name and the petition number. So if you have that, you're annotated, but that doesn't mean that you have to give yes here. That's pretty standard. So if you have just that, then you can give no and proceed to the next page. But let's say you under annotation, if there is a word that says clearance received, then there will be a date, or if there is a department authorization and there might be something else. If you have something like that, then you have to probably answer yes. Otherwise you can simply say no and go forward. Then the next question that they're gonna ask you is what's your most recent visa stolen, cancelled or revoked. So this is another pretty standard question. So if you have one such condition, give the answer accordingly, like if you yes or no. So if it is no, then you can click no and you can proceed. Have you ever been refused a US visa? If you are refused, so in the previous question itself you would have answered yes, then again here you'll be answering yes or no according to your situation, and you'll be proceeding further. So then here's another question: was your most recent visa issued after 2008? That means, are you applying a visa after 14 years? So they have a year criteria of 14 years. So if you're applying after 14 years, so then probably they might want to revalidate you and check you again. So that's the reason they ask you this question. If you have applied recently, then you can pretty much answer no, and you can go to this page. So on this page, if you see again, like now that most of the visa are getting qualified for Dropbox, this page again gives you option to choose between interview or a Dropbox. So there have been a lot of changes recently, and Dropbox appointments are getting delayed and stuff. Now I think it has normalized to a greater extent, and they are going to ask you need a sooner appointment than what we currently have in this case. So that's when you have to choose the interview, and then you might have to fill some conditions or provide additional documentation in order to tell them that, hey, this is a very urgent requirement for me to get a visa sooner than the Dropbox dates that are available. Click interview, then we can see that. If you click the interview, then it will ask you more questions, and it will take you to a page, and it will ask for standard documentations for you to proceed further. They are going to ask you for a set of documents. If you're able to provide that, then you might get qualified for then again you have to apply in a different way. So this is not going to be a straightforward thing. It's gonna I'll cover that in a different video. How do you apply for a in-person interview even though you qualify for a drop-off? Now let's go ahead and click the drop-off. So if you click drop-off, now that you have already qualified for the Dropbox, it is going to ask you what kind of the document delivery you are planning to do. Either you are planning to send it to your home, or you are planning to pick up. So you'll choose that, and then if you click next and proceed further, then it is going to ask you for the payment page. So you will make the payment, and then once you make the payment, the receipt gets reflected. Then you should be able to go to a page with the calendar you have already seen in my previous video, and you can select a date and reschedule your appointment. Now that you have an appointment, let's see how do you reschedule it. So before rescheduling, you should know that they will allow you a maximum of 4 times. So if you have 3 appointments and if you're trying to schedule it for the 4th time, that's your last time. If you're planning to do it more than that, they are not going to allow you. You might have to pay the fee again in order for you to reschedule. So otherwise, when you come to the main homepage, so there are options to cancel it or reschedule it. Or if you would like to see your existing appointment, you click the appointment confirmation page. So that will take you to the final appointment confirmation page with all the details and the date on which you have got your visa Dropbox. And if you scroll down a little bit below, it is going to give you all the documentation. If you want in detail help on the document checklist, there is another video that I have created specially for visa Dropbox document checklist. So you can go through that. That will help you in preparing your documents before you go for the visa Dropbox. So let's say you wanted to reschedule your visa appointment. So you're trying to move on a date that is comfortable for you, or you're trying to move a date a little bit. The process is pretty much the same like the first time when you got the appointment. So you have to give the capita, then it is going to give you this calendar. Then you can pick and choose a date. So they will give you the earliest available date. Then what you have to do is you have the option to select different consulates. So you can use the drop down to select a different consulate. But what you have to do is like you select from the checkbox what is the time and the date that you're looking for. You can see the number of slots. So if you see here, there were 32 slots and profile had 4 members. So 32, it pretty much covers it. So if you select the criteria and if you say next, it is going to book your appointment. So the confirmation page you saw, it's going to reflect the date and time and the document delivery option, whatever you have chosen, and you're good to go. Lot of you have been asking question saying that, hey, I have got my visa appointment and my page, entire thing is locked, but I need to make some changes to my application. So let's say my petition has changed, or petition number I gave wrong, or I have a new petition now. How do I change my petition? So the only option that I am aware, or the easiest way to interact with the CGI Federal or the consulate is using this feedback section. In the side menu, provide feedback. If you click the provide feedback, it is going to, it's a very simple page, simple form, where you will select an option from the drop down. If there is any additional documentation you wanted to provide, so let's say you have a new or you made a mistake of updating your petition number wrong, then you attach your new I-797 and say them, hey, this is my new I-797, I have a valid I-797, can you please update it? So this is pretty simple and straightforward option. So no brainer. Like if you wanted to interact CGI Federal Consulate, so this is the place. You come here, you select the relevant reason or most appropriate reason that's matching your condition, and select that option. Write your entire story. Give as much as documentation as possible. Referring to your passport, if you're referring to your I-797, anything that you're referring, substantiate with the proper documentation so that there is not much back and forth. They'll be able to provide you with a resolution sooner than later. Hope you like this content. Hope it answered few of your questions that you had related to the visa booking an appointment and rescheduling and stuff. Like always, like I'll try to answer as much as of your answer as possible. I'm coming up with another video with the most frequently asked questions related to the appointments and stuff. There are few different questions. I already have a video on the frequently asked questions, and there are few more questions that have popped in the recent times. I'm trying to consolidate that, and I will cover that in the next video. Until then, all the very best and good luck. Thank you.